Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Premodern, and this is in preparation for the Excalibur events, one of which has already passed, one of which is still coming up. Check out my links to sign up for that. Use the code BOSH for early bird. Get $5 off your entry if you register by August 6th. This is me playing around in the Terravore Oath space. The last time I tried this deck, I think I've posted trophies with green, white, and green, red. Then I posted a 4-1 with the 4 color, losing to the mana base in a matchup where I didn't need the other 2 colors. And that led me to the, is this splash color actually worth it if it's going to cost me games? And then I was talking to some pre-modern folks in the BoshNRoll Patreon Discord who directed me to a version that went 5 color, adding Vindicate to the 4 color build, because you have the City of Brasses and Mox Diamonds and Gemstone Mines to cast whatever. You might as well upgrade your Stone Rains. But that ended up with the same problem, of course, where the mana's bad, or the lands are sketchy. So I cut it down 2 colors to be only Abzan. I really like the idea of Vindicate. We're a deck that wants to play 8 Stone Rains anyway, and if the Stone Rains double as removal for anything, and I don't really need to spend a lot of time on why killing any permanent is better than killing only a land on your 3-mana sorcery. But there are games where, like, a Cursed Scroll gets through early, and you have complete control of the game, but you're just dying to some permanent that's difficult to answer. There are other games where your main deck naturalizes, which a lot of builds play, don't have a target because that's not what the game's about. Vindicate gets to be Stone Rain and Naturalize, and Swords to Plowshares, all these cards in one. So I maxed out on that. And rather than playing Gemstone Mines, I leaned in on the Pain lands, Llanowar Waste, Caves of Koilos, Brushland, and there's still 1 City of Brass in here. I don't know if I even need that, but it is a 3-color deck, and mana's bad in this format. Having this focus on black gives me cool sideboard cards that green, white, and green, red usually don't get access to. Duress, specifically, is the big one. Engineered Plague, and this is standing in for Pyroclasm or whatever else you would play with different color splashes. I think this is a little worse than Pyroclasm, but it will hit the matchups I need it to, and I think it's better than like a Wrath of God or a Cataclysm kind of thing, just for the mana value. And then I'm messing around with some other problems I'm trying to solve, which is the red matchup. Sphere of Law blanks all the creatures out of the red decks, except for maybe Ball Lightning. It makes all of their burn spells a lot worse. Bolt deals 1, Incinerate deals 1, Fire Blast deals 2, slows them down considerably, and then they have to kill you with non-red damage, like Mishra's Factory or Curse Scroll, which we have a deck full of Vindicates for now. Just trying to plug that gap, because that is an identified difficult matchup. And then I have Corrosive Reclamation and Phyrexian Furnace for decks that are using their graveyard, of which there are quite a few right now. And Corrosive Reclamation doubles as an answer to Dreadnought's Brain Freeze plan. Is getting Brain Freezed out by Dreadnought when you have 5 removal spells in your hand and Dreadnought can never kill you. Pretty annoying. Corrosive Reclamation, they mill it, then you buy yourself 3 turns, and hopefully they're out of gas by that point, and if you just stack 3 Terravores on top of your deck, all your lands are going to be in your graveyard because they just brain freeze you out, and you should be able to figure it out from there. At least that's the theory. That's what I'm trying. I don't know if this is good. The mana might be bad. I'm a little concerned about how much damage I'm dealing myself with Sylvan Library and this many Pain lands in the deck. I did a Scryfall search for gain life legal in Premodern and looked at close to 300 cards that gain you life in the Premodern format. A lot of them are creatures, which is incompatible with an Oath of Druid strategy. And then a lot of them are horrible, which is not surprising given the weakness of the Premodern card pool. There's a couple interesting options, but none of them really got over. And with the Black Splash especially, I could put some number of like drain life effects in here. Specifically the Black-White X one from Apocalypse. There's a number of one-shot effects, like Heroes Reunion, 2-mana gain 7, but that's going to be so bad so much of the time. I was really hoping for like some enchantment that does something I care about and also gains 1 life a turn. But it turns out a lot of the enchantments are like, 4 mana. If somebody casts a black spell, you gain 1 life. Or some terrible stuff, like awful rates from these early days of Magic on life gain. I thought about a sideboard Armadillo Cloak, because you bring in your Call of the Herds versus all the aggressive matchups anyway, and then you have Terravore and Herd that you can slap a Dillo on and go to town. But that card is so bad if you don't have a creature, and we're not actually that good of a creature deck, even when we double up the creatures. I don't know, it just didn't really seem to be there. Ivory Tower is legal in the format, but my hand isn't usually full like that, and I don't want to spend a card on Ivory Tower. All right, that's a huge aside on what amounted to nothing. But I am aware that I'm hurting myself a lot here, and I'm going to try to manage that. Let's do it. This is Abzan Terravore Oath. Merlion Games is hosting one of the biggest Eternal events of the summer. August 22nd and 23rd in San Mateo, California is Breach the Bay 2, featuring a CEDH 25K, Legacy 3K, and Premodern 3K with over $30,000 in cash prizes guaranteed. Breach the Bay also features a huge range of Magic artists, featuring multi-format staples like Oath of Druid, Tabernacle, Tamiyo, Sol Ring, Ponder, and more. If you need cards for the event, there will be vendors on site, or you can use Merlion.gg's deck buying tool. You're one copy and paste away from knowing exactly what cards they have for your deck. Make plans now to attend Breach the Bay 2. Links in the video description. I'm on the play in round 1. I'll keep. I've got solid mana. I've got all my colors. Turn 2 Sphere of Resistance. We will immediately notice that I have 2 green 1 cards in my hand and not double green. I'm hoping to draw a forest or some source of green in my next couple draw steps. An island. I drew another green card. Opponent opting in response. There's not like a lot that could happen to a Sphere of Resistance into 1 open island. Daze is legal in the format. That also sets my opponent back a land, though. If they want to foil this, that's a pretty good exchange for me. Can't counterspell yet. Nobody plays Force Spike. There's no Spell Pierce in the format. Ooh, opt to the bottom, miss your land drop under Sphere. All right, looking for the green source in my next 2 draw steps. If my Stone Rains get online, it's Jover. All right, it's not Jover yet. I did find land number 4. Second island, just miraculously off the top. Disappointing. Come on, Forest. I'll take it. I wish it happened last turn, but I will take it. And might as well fire up. Nobody's casting any spells here. 2 mana for an opt. Yeah, that second land is pretty annoying because that means my opponent can gush in response to a Stone Rain, which will set them back a bunch of lands and is probably fine, ultimately, if that's what happens. Okay, but if they're tapping out for Portent, I'm in. Because Gush does cost 1 here. Portent did not shuffle. Well, the land is probably on top, but Portent's a lot worse than Ponder, so they missed that land drop. And then I get to grasp their Winter. And now there's a land in the graveyard, so Terravore can have stats. This is why this deck is so appealing to me. Sphere of Resistance is just such an asshole of a Magic card, and so many decks just don't really function with it in play. There's the island we knew they kept on top from Portent. They discarded Gush to hand size. I am going to Thermokarst them. They can't counterspell here. If they Gush, I don't care. Like, they technically get to save the lands, but they're going to have 10, 11 cards in hand and not be able to deploy them. They're going to have to discard a bunch to hand size. This sets them back all these turns of development. They floated blue, and then let it resolve. Sorry if there's some noise in my background. There's vacuuming happening in my hallway right now. I would normally wait it out, but this deck can be quite grindy. Okay, they're phasing out my Sphere of Resistance. Sure. Oh, that means they're probably going to try to send this turn. Or they might just be doing literally anything they can, trying to cantrip and find their next land this turn. Or they might play a Dreadnought, which I have covered with the Plow. They had the land ready. Dreadnought's here. They're not going to be able to protect this. Okay, that's fine. Did a good job punching a hole. It's just not really going to matter, I don't think. Allow that. And I could chip shot with Factory and port my opponent. Or I could develop Terravore and have a sticky threat. I think porting is better. Opponent did just gain 12 life. But if they can't play the game, I'll figure it out. They upkeep Opt with their mana. Opt went to the bottom, and they missed the land drop. Fetch land's nice. That gives me a pain-free source of green and another land in the graveyard with which to develop Terravore. So I can Terravore, attack for 2, and still port them here. 3/3 going nuts. I can start wasting my own lands too if I want to increase the clock. Okay, they found land number 3. They're close to double spelling. And if they just get to 4 lands and go Dreadnought Stifle, that might actually be enough to overcome me here. They did shuffle the Portent. There are only 3 Dreadnoughts left in the deck. That is not a card I want to play. Oh, if they Oath, there's 3 creatures in their whole deck. They would have to Oath into Dreadnought, have a Stifle ready to protect it, and that would mill a lot of cards and potentially make Terravore really big. I don't think I want to mess around with this Oath. I just wanted to talk it out. Okay, 3/3, 3/3. Attack with my creatures. Do I want to waste my own wasteland? Does that change the clock? 9 versus 10 does not change the clock. Okay. And my next land attacks for 1 extra. Yeah, the Rashadan Port actually kind of has them in the dirt here. I was worried about their 4th land being Dreadnought, but they actually need 5 lands to do that. And they can't do the plus mana gush trick because, again, Sphere of Resistance. All right, here's the extra land I was waiting for. Fire up, fire up, fire up. And I can still port, attack with everybody. And now I just bully through a Dreadnought even if they have it. Powder Keg. Okay, so that can destroy lands. It destroys each artifact and creature. Luckily, Terravore just kills them anyway. Well, they're dead anyway. If they bust Powder Keg, a land dies, and then Terravore's a 4/4, so this is over. I could also waste my own lands. It just doesn't matter. Okay. Attack for 5, which they could make 4, but luckily for me, that is their life total anyway. Okay, take 4. Nice. Okay. Playing against Dreadnought here. Aura of Silence. Frozen Wreck. All of the Herd. I think Oath just straight up comes out here. I could have conversations about Duress. Okay, Oath of Druid's out. I think I'm going to shave a Mox Diamond. That is just it's a bad top deck in a matchup that might be about attrition. I don't think I actually want Aura of Silence. I have so many answers to Dreadnought, and at the risk of overboarding. The Frozen Wreck, like I said in the deck tech, is just here in case they're on the Brain Freeze plan. Yeah, this is a bad top deck in a matchup that might be grindy, and we've seen main deck Powder Keg. There's a lot of reasons that Mox Diamond might not be great. I could shave 2 Stone Rains. They were really big there, but against a deck with Gush and potentially Daze, I like it a bit less. I think I'll go 2 Duresses and have my threats in. I could cut a Terravore. Do I think Terravore is better than Call of the Herd as a threat if Oath isn't in my deck? If I want more Duresses, and I'm testing right now, so I kind of am motivated to see my testing cards. And I think I have enough counterplay to Dreadnought that I don't need the Aura of Silences on top of everything. I'll keep an annoying little Rashadan Port hand. Portent. Portent. Rashadan Port. Port, mirror match. Another Plow. Okay, I'm going to play Port, and then I'll play Diamond. I'm going to discard Llanowar Waste here, because I think white is a more important card to have base access to than black is, if something happens to my Mox Diamond. And if nothing happens to my Mox Diamond, then it doesn't matter. A Gush is online, but Gush sets them back a bunch of cards, or a bunch of turns. They go way up on cards, but they go way back on turns. So I am going to just rip off the Thermokarst here. Ooh, that's dirty. Fair enough. Fair enough. An aggressive play. Probably going to be rewarded. Brushland and pass. Would I rather Thermokarst right now? I don't really want to go down another card on Mox Diamond, but green is eventually part of the plan. All right, fuck it, we ball. This might prove to be a big mistake, and I'm willing to explore the aggression lane here. Okay, the land died. They did not Gush in response. That doesn't mean they don't have Gush. They just determined it's not what they want to be doing. Call of the Herd is another card that just gets mopped by Powder Keg. Wasteland. I think I would like to be on the battlefield if I have the option, and then I'll go back to porting. I'm not worried about a Dreadnought corner turn. I have that covered. Devastating. Yeah, that's the worst thing that could have happened to me. All right, yeah, Mox Diamond. This is specifically the card I called out as potentially an issue into known problems presented by my opponent. And it is proving to be an issue. Boarded one out. And replaying the second one was a choice I made with my eyes open about what that could mean for my game. Treetop Village. I'm definitely just playing Treetop Village. I'm not redeploying a Mox Diamond here. I don't have black mana right now because of the diamond getting bonked twice, but I also don't have black cards. So that's currently not a problem. Opt. Found a land. A forest. Do I think Mox Diamond is better than forest? I think I want to flashback Call of the Herd right now without playing out the diamond. And I'm not going to play the land either. Because now if I draw a black card, I have the option, and forest doesn't enter tapped and doesn't cost me anything. If it turns out I just need 5 mana next turn. Okay, now I have black without the diamond. We're good. Attack. Worth that. Blue, Sabo's Web. That did snag both of these lands, unfortunately. I could have tapped any land other than Wasteland there. Or I could have tapped one of my mana lands instead of the Wasteland. That was me playing bad. I didn't respect the web because they clearly didn't have it last turn, but now they do. So scoreboard, anti-me. Right. Mox Diamond time. Are they going to annul this? They are. Okay, that's not a huge deal. Terravore. I can deploy this without tapping any newly dead lands. It could get foiled, but I'm still on the board. Did not get foiled. Elephant. Honestly, trading Mox Diamond for annul there was pretty great. I was ready for it to cost me 2 cards, and it actually ended up being a 1-for-1. Vindicate. Hell yeah. All right, let's cause problems. And my opponent's dead on board, so I don't need to do anything right now. A Gush. 10 cards in hand. I do have the Curse and Reclamation in my deck. If they set up a turn that can brain freeze me out here, if they have a counter spell to counter the Curse and Rec on the flashback, obviously that's no good for me. But at least I'm not instantly dead to that. Okay. My Elephant was bounced. 2 Chain of Vapors in the deck at least. And Terravore gets to continue its Terrifying Rain. Discard a card. Discard a land. All right, Vision Charm. Didn't discard a land for me. Attack. I know firing up Treetop Village could have presented lethal there, but the Sabo's Web has me all fucked up. I'm pretty sure my opponent's hand is full of counterspells, which is why I haven't played the Vindicate yet. It's their job to solve this problem, and if I just play into their cards, give them value where I don't need to. Yeah, cool. Probably handful of counterspells, or like stifles but no Dreadnought, or Dreadnought but no stifle. I just discarded a Vision Charm, so it's probably not Dreadnought, no stifle. It's probably a handful of stifles and counterspells. Cool. On to the next one. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the Premodern Scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold Border and Collector's Edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2, one of my favorite things, turn 1 Sylvan Library. I think I'm going to discard Basic Forest here. I don't know the matchup yet, and these other lands could be pretty good. Vindicate being on the double splash. I mean, I'm a base white deck, but having the Vindicate also, that means Mox Diamond doesn't cast all your splash cards. Okay, we've got a Mog Fanatic in the chat, which means I'm probably not incentivized to spend a lot of extra life here. I think I'm going to go top, and then I'll just cast the Stone Rain here. I know I could Wasteland for the same effect, and this deck might have other basics in it later, but I want to develop mana. I want to be ahead. I don't want to trade off while I'm losing life here. Another Mog Fanatic. And whether this is like red-green goblins that just has Mog Fanatics in it, or a red-green aggro deck, or burn splashing green, I don't know all the answers to those questions yet. I'll put Port on top, and when am I willing to pay life? I'll pay a little bit right now just to move things forward a bit. And I'm running out 2/2 Terravore. I can make it 4/4 by wasting my Caves of Koilos. I can make it 3/3 by wasting my Wasteland. Maybe it would have been better to play Mishra's Factory this turn and make them respond to that blocker, where if they push through it, Terravore also arrives 1 point bigger. I would believe that. Yeah, I think I just did that wrong. I definitely want to get on the board and stop bleeding out to Mog Fanatics here, but this I don't think was the way to do it. Dust Bowl. Okay, now I can waste their card. Oh, this is not gonna work. Okay, so maybe they are goblins. All right, waste the Dust Bowl in response. They can sack all their creatures here to finish off Terravore, like sack the 2 Fanatics, but that was a pretty good turn. Yeah, stabilizing the entire board here. I'll take it, I guess. And we're now pretty sure they are actually red-green goblins. Yuck. Okay. I will pay for a life and then put Mox Diamond on top. And I'm going to start Rashad porting my opponent. Rashad Port also. Look at me. I'm the Rashad Port now. Sphere of Resistance. Okay. Top. Play the bonus port. Play Sphere. And then port their Mountain. I'm a lot more worried about them casting a spell than I am about them tapping one of my lands. Okay, they've missed a land drop. That's huge. Top. Play out Factory. And now I'm just porting all their lands every turn. Factory can start actually winning the game. Okay, porting my Factory in response. Sure. Don't even have to use the other Rishodan port. Did it to yourself. Yeah, this does not stop Factory from attacking, because I get the untap step next. Top. Straight up Wasteland now. Make this even worse for you. And the slow death begins. Whoa, no. Apparently I have clicked by accident in a way that animated my Factory. I hope they can't, like, shock it or something. That was just me clicking it in the wrong way. I mean, if they want to, like, sack these 2 things and pay 1 to Fire Blast my Mishra's Factory, I would be okay with that. They did just try to cast a 1-drop and then seem to forget that I still have Sphere in play. Windswept Teeth is huge. Clear these dumb cards that have been kicking around on the top of my deck for the whole game. Back for 2. Fresh looks next turn. Now my opponent could do stuff like cycle Gem Palm Incinerator, deal 0 damage to anything just to see another card, but that didn't happen. Clean up step. Hopefully these discards give me more information. This is probably just goblins. Yeah, okay. But like I know Premodern can be strange sometimes. This is a lot of good stuff. Diamond on top. But like the Mog Fanatic specifically weirded me out a little bit. Made me think it was burn for a couple turns or red-green aggro for a couple turns. But War Chief, this is just full-ass goblins. Okay. Do I pay 4 this turn? Do I have enough to do what I want to do? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Terravore. 1, 2, 3. That's Sphere. Okay. I'll pay the 4 this turn. Down to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Terravore. 1, 2, 3. Backup Sphere. Okay, my opponent has 1 turn with their mana open, but I've squeezed them with Sphere, so that's like porting them. They could cast a 1-drop this turn. And my last card in hand is Swords to Plowshares. I don't know what 1-drop would ruin my days here. Yeah, I mean, that's the best 1-drop they could have, but it's not good enough. I even have an onboard blocker for it. A Sylvan Library, put Diamond and other Sylvan Library on top. There's no fetchables left in my deck. This is not mana, but it is a shuffle, and it is +1 on Terravore. I will fetch. Terravore's bigger. And then, how do I want to play this? I could plow this now and attack for 11. That doesn't change the clock because Terravore still is there. I could just attack with Terravore. They take 9. Then in the upkeep, port. It would 1, 2, 3, 4 to port. 1, 2. Yeah, if I don't plow Lackey, I actually do lose to Wasteland, so I am just going to deal with this now. And I'm not attacking with Factory. I'm just going to port them and make sure I don't lose. Sweet. Okay. Taking game 1 against Goblins feels good. Engineered Plagues come in. Spheres of Law come in. I think that's it. And I think it's just the Stone Rains. It's not really what this matchup's about. I mean, it can be about that, but with them on the play, I'm a lot more worried about getting buried by a Lackey. I do like Oath, obviously. This is one of the best Oath matchups. Yeah, I think that's the change I'm going to make. Stone Rains out, anti-Goblin enchantments in. Getting moderately smoked here by the 3-color mana base. Double Plow in the opener is the dream, but Llanowar Waste doesn't cast it. I think I am going to keep, though. Oath is just so tasty. White sources I can top deck. There's 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 11 white sources I could top deck. There's not that many, actually. It's like 1, slightly better than 1 in 5 cards in my deck. Okay, cool. I just didn't have turn 1 Lackey. That makes this much easier for me. Wasteland pass. I don't want my green source locked down. And my opponent's also a mana denial deck. Oh, the turn 2 Lackey. Right on time. Let's see if I can navigate this. Llanowar Waste. All right, well, I guess we are just thugging it out. Your best card versus my best card. Who's got it? Do you have the Naturalize here before I can come up with the white source? If Lackey connects, do you have a Siege Gang or something that actually races Terravore? Or are we putting in something more modest? Goblin Pile Driver. Okay. Free combat's interesting. Doesn't have haste. It's just a creature. All right, moment of truth. There has to be another Goblin in hand or else they wouldn't have played this one. They would have just put it in for free. I'm not getting Naturalized this turn. Goblin Matron is going to look for the goods for next turn. Gem Palm Incinerator. Okay, they're hoping for a small Terravore, I guess. There's 3 in my deck. There are currently no lands in graveyards. I hope some amount of lands get milled over before I hit a Vor. All right, a lot of lands happened first. I'm going to put the non-lands on the bottom. Okay. And then let the rest resolve. That's an 8/8. Sylvan Library. There are 2 creatures left in my deck. I think I should just play this other Terravore. That seems like the way to go. Yeah, I'm just big chunk in here. I mean, if they have a Tormod script, they've very smartly not cracked this fetch land. If they have a Tormod script, I actually lose my whole board and probably lose the game on the spot. Yeah. Sick. All right. Cool trick. Cool trick. I could have left up Wasteland to at least have Terravore survive. I still have Oath, 2 more Vores in the deck. Mog Fanatic. That means Gem Palm Incinerator's last card in the hand. I get it for 7 this turn, and they're probably not putting Gem Palm Incinerator in. I mean, they might. If they think the 2/1, which is actually 4 power on the board, will do more. And I think that's actually kind of a reasonable bet. Okay. Only 2 lands went to the graveyard there. Not great. Oh, but you have to fetch to Gem Palm, and then I can waste you. Awkward. But you untap, and then you got it. Yeah, I can only get 4 lands into the graveyard here. All right, cool game. Yeah, Tormod script. I could have played around the Tormod script by not playing the second Terravore if I play out the second Oath instead. But it puts them on exactly that, which I think I'm okay with. So maybe it makes more sense to just not get blown out if you don't have to. That was a tight game. Them having that turn 1 fetch land and just never cracking it was really smart. That was the difference between them winning and losing that game. Yeah, on that turn, if I had played the second Oath, I could have had Wasteland up, which could have left my 1 Terravore in play as a 1/1. Oh my god. All right, so Plow is great. Plague and Sphere are great. Oath is great. I'm missing 2 colors of mana, but I do have the basic Plains, which is the first check passed. I'm going to go with it. When I kept 7 this time. I've seen what their 5 can do. Nervous. Mountain, Mog Fanatic. That's not a lackey. Green source. A second plow. All right. I'm just going to port here. Getting wastelanded would not be ideal. Not a wasteland. The turn 2 lackey. This is 2 games in a row they've had turn 2 lackey. Like, are they trying to dance around me curving out with removal? Or like, are they just top decking lackey after turn 1? All right, black source off the top is the nuts here. Yuck. Okay. We're in the danger zone, but I can survive for a while. Plow lackey. That's just going to have to happen. Another fanatic. Any land in my deck is useful here. I have spells of all of my colors. I even have a white card that just costs more than I have. Even the colorless lands are helpful. Oh no, deck, why? I pass the turn. I don't think I can Rashadan port here, because if they go War Chief Lackey, or I guess I could have played around that with Rashadan port. What am I talking about? That's literally what Rashadan port is for. Oh, we're casting Gem Palm Incinerators. That's the phase of the game we're at. Come on, Black Source. That makes me wonder if my opponent has Siege Gang Commander in hand or a bunch of naturalized kind of effects in hand. I'll tap their Wooded Foothills in the end step. Let's force the issue on that. Mana. Okay. Green. Colorless. Let's invest in one of these Oaths. Flush out and naturalize. I'm playing out the one that I think they need to naturalize the most. It's also the one I have 2 of. And I'm going to try to Diamond Hands this Swords to Plowshares. 4 damage, puts me to 11, functionally 9 on the board. They could sack all their own creatures, like use Fanatic to kill Gem Palm and then Fanatic me. All right, had the Naturalize. Still having faith in my deck to produce mana. All right, a green source. Would I rather Oath at this point or trigger Sylvan Library? I think I'd still rather Oath. I might have to plow the Incinerator on this turn. That's really annoying. And I have so many draws where I just don't care about that card anymore. 4, functionally at 4. All right, I'm holding on. Believe in the cleave. All right, got me again. Come on, any untapped land. Any one at all. No, I hate Mox Diamond so much. Okay, oh well. Now I have to plow the Incinerator because I'm actually dead. All right, plow Gem Palm Incinerator. I go to 2 on this board. Functional 2. Not actual 2, which is an important difference. Because actual 2, I'm dead. Another Incinerator. All right, deck. What do you say, big fella? Mana? Mana? I do have a forest left in the deck. I am functionally at 1. And if they have a 3rd naturalize, I'm dead. But if they don't, this is a very powerful card for me to have access to right now. They didn't sack the Mog Fanatics in response. So either the bet is 1 is the same as 3 if Sphere's in play, or Sphere's not going to be in play. How many naturalized were you sitting on? Yep. I did identify on turn 2 or 3 that their hand was probably a bunch of naturalizes, but 3 is a lot of them. Okay, so the 3-color nature of the deck did get me there. My opponent did have a clutch wasteland and triple specific piece of interaction. I could have plowed the other Incinerator much earlier. If I had access to black, I would have Wrath of Godded them rather than Sphere. And then I'm at 1. They still have to naturalize, and then we figure it out. Yeah, I mean, 3-color deck. That is the difference. If I was just red-green Ponza and this was Pyroclasm, this game's very different. I also could have mulliganed the hand that couldn't quite do all of this, but in my deck with 28 lands, when all I need to do is draw mana, I think it's an okay bet to take, especially with 2 Swords to Plowshares ready to go. Yeah, that was really tight and came down to, if my opponent had 1 more Goblin and 1 less Naturalize, I think I win it. Cool match. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 3. I'm going to keep. I've got 2 white cards I can't cast. The black mana that never wanted to show up last game is now plentiful in my hand. But again, 3 and 4 color decks in Premodern, you're unlikely to have access to all your spells in your opening hand. You'll have to have some faith to figure it out. Unless you're willing to play a lot more City of Brasses and Gemstone Mines, which the point of me playing Abzan and not 5 color. Like, I would not play this list with more City of Brass and a bunch of Gemstone Mines. I would just go full 5 color then. Ball Therapy. All right, please name Oath of Druids. Don't name Sphere of Resistance. Sylvan Library is also a card that would be pretty good to name. Thermokarst. Wow. Taking the specific bet against one of my 2 Stone Rains is pretty ballsy. Sphere of Resistance. Hopefully that slows down my opponent who is scared of Stone Rain on turn 1. Black-White. Okay, another Cabal Therapy. This one's going to name Vindicate. That's a Stone Rain that hits other stuff. Oh, name Terravore, sure. That one was a ways away from being a problem. It's weird to be worried about Stone Rain on 1 turn, and then a turn later not be worried about Stone Rain. I'm going to develop my Forest here and attack for 3. I guess Terravore is a card I could technically cast with what they can see, where the white cards require me to draw out of it. You have a Maya Coast. Oh, what's going on here? Veteran Explorer. All right, I got basic lands in my deck. I'll take them. This means my fetch lands don't have targets anymore, but I was hard up for some white mana anyway. Right, now I imagine Vindicate's going to go. Yep. Okay, Sphere of Resistance suddenly looking pretty poor. Sylvan Library looking amazing, though. Do I want to run my Treetop Village into possible Swords to Plowshares? Yeah, whatever. Let's get a card out of your hand, if that's what's going on. My deck wins with creatures, and doesn't have main deck discard. Might as well offer something up. Island. Basic Island. We've got the full 4-color Nick Fit experience. It can't be a Hermit deck because of all these basics. All right. Pay for a life. Pay for a life. I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a matchup where my life total is what's going to get me. Right, fire up Factory. Play different Factory. Fire up Village. Attack. Factor Fiction. Mid-combat. Okay. Innocent Bloods and Veteran Explorers. And I don't care about Innocent Blood. Do I care about Veteran Explorer? And it blocks. Okay, I can't really... I can put the Explorers and then, like, the lands. If I split up the Explorers, they have Explorer... Like, both piles will end up having Explorer and mana and the means of sacrificing it to itself somehow. I think I'm going to give them the lands or the Explorers. I'm out of basics here. Oh, the Explorers don't help me. Okay, they took the lands and Innocent Blood. No blocks. Get my extra Mishra's Factory damage. Opponent is at 7, which is how much I can attack for next turn. Exactly. Phyrexian Tower. All right, what's going on? You have some giant asshole effect you can play here. Academy Rector. Okay, yeah, there is a big asshole effect here. Okay. And they can do this at will, which means... How do I want to approach this? I can port the Phyrexian Tower and force the issue so I know what's going on before anything else happens. I could plow the Rector for the same effect. I don't have lethal, though, if I port the tower. What I don't want to do is for them to grab a Pernicious Deed when I have all of my creature lands activated. I could just play Oath and make them sack their creature. A port is the land I'm playing this turn. I don't actually know all the things Rector can do in the Premodern format. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass and make whatever it needs to happen on their turn. There's a Cabal Therapy in their bin as well. Well, multiple chances to sack the Rector proactively. None of them taken. I'm going to tap Phyrexian Tower. If they don't sack now, I can plow, and they know I have plow, so I'm not going to be able to trick them into moving phases here. Yeah, Pernicious Deed was the get. That card will not be trivial for me to defeat. That's why I didn't play out Diamond or Oath. Cabal Therapy. All right, well, that can name Swords to Plowshares. You know I have that one. Do they want to speculate on what else I've drawn since then? Terravore. Okay, cool. So they're not worried about Plow, or they're very worried about Terravore, which I guess makes some sense. Like, if I can force them to put the deed on non-creature land permanents, that's a lot better for me. Another sphere, another port. I'll go Treetop Village on top. This is the last time I can pay mana, or pay life. I think I will take it, because I don't even know if I'm going to untap with Sylvan Library again. Okay, second sphere, second port, pass. Yeah, I think what I have to do here is annoy their mana and then chip shot with my creature lands until they have to blow deed to kill only one thing. Or I could find Vindicate before combat, hit the deed, and then actually just kill them. Okay. Top, top. All right, destroy Phyrexian Tower using this 5-mana spell. Develop another Treetop Village. Tap their 2 blue sources. I wonder if tapping the 2 white sources is better. In Fact or Fiction is not really a reload I want them to have, but being an Academy Rector deck with Cabal Therapy in the graveyard, white's probably more important to them than blue. The Rector costs 6, and then Therapy costs 2, so that's actually... No, that's actually fine. They won't be able to flashback Therapy, even if they do have Rector, which means I can plow it before it does anything. Okay. Top. Top. Very important not to misclick and accidentally pay for life here. Okay. I'm going to offer up one of my Treetop Village ape creatures. Just one. This might be tempting enough to blow the deed for 2. They were looking for literally any excuse to clear all my stuff. All right, fair enough. We've played to this possibility. Okay, Treetop Village, Oath of Druids. And then I'm going to port my opponent off white this turn and leave up Swords to Plowshares. We know Innocent Blood is one of the 5 cards in their hand as well from that earlier Fact or Fiction. It's Crows and Tusker cycle. Love it. And they did not find another deed. Cool. Just don't get smoked by obvious tricks, and you're okay. Okay, Phyrexian Furnace does answer an Academy Rector, as long as I leave a mana up. Rector does have a trigger from the graveyard that requires you to exile it from the graveyard. Frozen Wreck, another graveyard counterplay card. I don't know that I want to be bringing in more Call of the Herds versus a known Pernicious Deed deck. But I also don't know that I want to play Oath with only 4 creatures into this either. Maybe it's fine. Aura of Silence is more answers to Pernicious Deed, if that's what I'm worried about. Is Swords to Plowshare something I even want here? Most of their creatures are built to die, and they can sacrifice them immediately if they want to. I could have some Duresses. See what's going on over there. And I actually think the Thermokarst and Winter's Grasp are kind of embarrassing versus a deck that can puke basics into play. All right, I'll bring in a couple Duresses and some Graveyard Hate, but otherwise keep my main deck intact. Okay, on the draw, of course, I'll keep this hand. It has all the colors and Fast Sphere, Fast Vindicate. Well, the Fast Sphere slows down the Vindicate, ironically. Oh, turn 1 Oath. Right, I'm going to go Waste, Diamond, discard Waste, play Sphere. I do just believe in Sphere of Resistance a lot in this format, or else I wouldn't even think about this deck. Terravore. I'm going to develop Oath while I can, just in case they have the cheeky idea of putting a little Veteran Explorer into play. All right, 3 mana. Just can't play Deed. Guy's Blessing targeting my land or waste, sure. Okay, drawing an untapped land here is huge. Come on, deck. All right, well, as far as non-untapped land spells that I could draw go, that one's pretty freaking nice. Okay, they saw me miss a land drop. If they have land Pernicious Deed here, that would actually be pretty rough. But then I Sylvan Library into any untapped land and blow up the deed. I lose my Mox Diamond, but I don't lose all my permanents. Veteran Explorer. Okay. Oh, not okay. Oh, are they going to let me Oath? All right. I'll resolve an Oath trigger. Hell yeah, brother. Okay. The order could matter. Diamond, just putting the things that are not lands or flashback spells on the bottom, and the rest can go wherever. Sylvan Library. Drawn another Terravore. I don't have to, though. All right, I'll put that one on top of the deck, and I will pay for life to keep Phyrexian Furnace. Where does Vindicate go here? I'm definitely casting it. Probably on Basic Swamp. No, Llanowar Waste, like their life total, 1 point's not going to be the difference maker. All right, I'll hit the Waste. Okay, now there's a land in my opponent's graveyard as well, so Terravore won't die to a Tormod's Crypt. If opponent attacks, I will not block. Innocent Blood. That's pretty sick. All right, that shuffles the Terravore off the top of my deck. That's a deal. I get a Plains and a Forest out of the deck. Or, oh, I milled my Plains. I only get Forest. Never mind. There are only 2 Terravores left in here. Oh, there's no Oath. Right. Oath is gone. Or Oath is... That's not gone, but it doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could play 1 Terravore this turn, so I'll go top, and I probably want to keep Mox Diamond just to get it out of the way. I could just continue attacking their stuff. I could take them off black mana entirely. That seems pretty good for me. All right, hit the black source, play Phyrexian Furnace, which I can tap now, and it doesn't hurt me at all. This gets Gaia's Blessing out of their graveyard. A lot of rock decks play like 2 or 3 of those so they can loop endlessly into the end game. But I don't want to actually exile that Llanowar Waste from their graveyard. Another Llanowar Waste. Black mana unlocked. Rector damn near killed her. But luckily I have the Furnace online, so I can trigger Oath here. Terravore is on top of my deck. Well, that just comes right into play. Ooh, Duress. First appearance of that sick sideboard technology. Sylvan Library on top, Wasteland in my hand. Duress you, hopefully strip a removal spell. Swords to Plowshares in hand, I'll take that. Wasteland, take you off black again. And I think the best thing I can do is leave up Phyrexian Furnace right now. And Vindicating a land is tight, but if they rip a way to deal with their Rector, I would like to not lose to that. Well, I'm obviously not blocking, even though I could handle it. But I don't want to bet against the second Rector. Okay, second Rector is here. I could use Krosan Wreck now. Shuffle Terravore, Vindicate, Swords to Plowshares into my deck. Or I could just let Oath rip, and it's fine. I have 1 Terravore left in my deck. If this gets big enough, I just win. All right, yeah, I'll just Oath. Yeah, then playing a second creature is bold. Oath trigger, hit 4 lands. Well, that's 15 on the Vor. Can I do enough here? I have no lands that throw themselves in the graveyard. I can discard a land to Mox Diamond. That gives me 16. And then Karst gives me 17. I would have to pay 4 life to make this line. I don't think that's an option for me here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow up Swamp. Okay, I'm going to go top, top. I'm not going to Thermokarst this turn. I'm just going to attack for 15 and then use my Graveyard Hate to not get Rectored. Attack for 15. Yep, you block. You take 13 trample. Rector triggers. In response, exile target card from a graveyard, draw a card. I'll exile Rector. I draw the Karst. Rector does not work. And Krosan Reclamation on the flashback costs 3, which means I am not willing to spend any other mana here and tap out of that. Opponent can Oath now. This is very likely to grow my Terravore without helping them. Yeah, just made Terravore actually get bigger? No, I just dropped a Veteran Explorer off the top of their deck. Sure. I do not care about that. There's 1 card in their hand I could care about here, and I can't imagine what it could be. Sweet. The Krosan Reclamation sideboard tech actually mattered there. Duress mattered a lot there. Oh, the tech from the deck kicked in this time. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 4 with a hand that I would keep on the play. It's a little mopey, but I like a Sylvan Library. Let's go. Premodern's not that fast. I'll give myself the chance to just play normal cards. Okay, Forest, go. Basic Plains, Tempest Plains. Next to the Modern Horizons Flooded Strand. Tough beats. All right, hopefully we quickly see a nice basic. Yeah, there we go. Odyssey basic. Old P-Keg. Card's all right. Oath of Druids. Sylvan Library, get in there. Powder Keg is a good card. Good thing I have 4 main deck Vindicates just in case it gets to me at some point. I am well suited to a standstill game here. Oh yeah. Yeah, play that out. Play that shit out. Ox Diamond, that showed up. Nope, it didn't show up late. I don't actually care about it at all. Top, and I'll pay for a life just to keep things schmoving here. I think I can Wasteland later. What's the rush? We both have Wasteland, or they may have Wastelands. I don't actually know. I should probably know if Standstill has Wasteland in this format. I have Wastelands. I have more creature lands than my opponent. They've got a Powder Keg. I'm going to play Wasteland and attack for 2. When this Powder Keg pops, I pull way ahead. So I'm interested in causing trouble where I can. Right, waste your factory. I have to do that because theirs is a 3/3 on defense. Mine's only a 2/2 on offense. I want to be either pushing damage or removing the Powder Keg here. It's my opponent's choice which one's which. Okay, they are not willing to break Powder Keg just yet because they see Treetop Village. They know there's a juicier target, but I'm not going to give it to them, is the secret. Top. With triple factory, I can get a little pushy here. Yeah, +1/+1. I'm not bluffing anything. I know you got Powder Keg. I'm not going to play chicken over 1 damage with you. I want Powder Keg gone. Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so they're willing to bust their standstill to break this open. I am a Mox Diamond deck, but Mox Diamond dies to Powder Keg. But this is how I don't lose a bunch of cards. You discard Basic Forest, play Sphere, or would I rather? Yeah, Oath doesn't do anything. Yep. Sphere is the play, I guess. That does expose me further to Powder Keg when it inevitably busts. That's going to be annoying to lose a mana source too, but I would have just discarded all those same cards to hand size, and I wouldn't have developed Sphere of Resistance, so I'm into it. Okay, they did not have a follow-up Standstill. That's good for me. Top, and I am going to deploy 2 cards this turn, so I should pay to keep an extra 1. I'm probably going to Thermokarst Mishra's Factory right now. I think I want to develop Plains so I can have Black-White on a future turn. Karst. Fetching in response. This could be a Factor Fiction, could be a counterspell, could be Decree of Justice for 2, which makes their Powder Keg worse. Now we all got skin in the game. That also makes Oath of Druids a thing that next turn they're likely to have to break their Powder Keg just to not get oathed into oblivion. Okay, I've been attacked for 2. A Morph. Wow. Okay. Main deck Morph. I'm glad I didn't go too buck wild on life payment early. Top. I could play Oath right now and make that their problem. That commits to taking a hit from what's probably Exalted Angel. Or I could Vindicate the Angel and worry about how I'm winning later. Yeah, I think I'd rather... Though it does cost all of their mana to flip the Angel up. And then if they're tapped out into my Oath trigger, and then I can answer their thing, that's okay. Okay, Oath of Druids. Get that in. And Caves of Koilos. Pass the turn. Attacking for 4. Powder Keg can currently kill all of these things. All right, so they are committed to a damage race, which I know doesn't favor them. I could have blocked one of those soldiers. Probably should have, actually. All right, I've got a 9/9 Terravore. Drew another Terravore. I'm going to tuck that one back. Put on top. And put on top Mishra's Factory. Do I want Rashad Board here? What am I doing with my mana? I'm casting Vindicate. And then, yeah, Rashad boarding my opponent. That sounds pretty good. Right, Vindicate the Angel. All right, that's some big moves. Yeah, if they plow this, I go to massive out of reach levels of life total. I don't know what other card they could have here that I care about. I'm going to Port of Plains. I assume their cards I have to care about are white. Cycling Miscalc. Good call. I'm done casting spells this game. Still pushing damage. I will block. There's a Terravore right near the top of my deck. I put it there. But Oath isn't on anymore. That's why they attacked. Good call. I can float this Terravore on top basically forever, though. Top, top. We're at the point where cracking Powder Keg deals extra damage for me. I wake up the Mishra's Factory. I should have used Mox Diamond to do that. Shit. Now I am exposed to lose a mana for no reason. That was loose. I guess now I'm gonna free combat Vindicate. Yeah, that was sloppy. I also should have gone after the untapped island. That changes nothing. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm losing my mind. Okay, attack for 12. Okay, attack for 11. And Soldier, Mox Diamond go away. And then I'll port Island, I guess. Just picking a color to take them off of. Disenchant the Sphere. Okay. You get to Oath. And we know there are angels in the deck, but hopefully a lot of lands mill here. Port the Island. 18 trample is enough here. And Swords of Plowshares would put me into the high 20s of life. Okay, those last couple turns got a little sloppy, but mostly happy with how that game went. Duress, incredible here. Engineered Plague can name Soldier, and you don't have to worry about Decree anymore. But I'm not sure how worried about Decree I am anyway. Okay, the Duresses come in. I know we saw Exalted Angel, but I'm playing 4 Vindicates. I'm distorting my mana to play 4 Vindicates over 4 Stone Rains, so I can hedge. I just get that sort of out covered. I think this is not an Oath matchup, even though Oath was pretty good there. I am going to try to call the herd. Back it up with my Duresses, just use my interaction intelligently. I'm going to shave a Mox Diamond as well. Grindy matchup that has Powder Keg in it. No thanks. Okay. I am going to try it like this. There's at least 2 angels in the main deck, which is why I haven't cut all my plows. Oh, the monocolorless hand. I'll mulligan this one. All right, much more interested in this. Keep and bottom a factory. I'll figure that out later. I want my colors first. Colors and disruption. A tapped coastal tower. That's so beautiful. I love seeing cards like this in play. Even in pre-modern, they're not very good, but it's sick that just on the fringes, that one still has a home. I have 2 of my most important cards. I'm just going to jam one into a mana leak. Miscalculation. Yep. It's prepared for that possibility. All of the herd. Okay, I'll be a little disappointed if this one doesn't resolve. I think I want to call the herd here. This is a big enough creature that Mishra's Factory is not a problem. This means they can't just shove Standstill onto the battlefield now. And if I draw a land, I can double spell Sylvan Library plus Sphere of Resistance. I think that just uses my mana better and makes the game about something different. Like if they just have a hand of 6 lands plus Impulse, which in a lot of cases is not bad for this deck, the elephant makes them do something. A Powder Keg has gotten involved. I did draw a land. It wasn't the one I was hoping for. Right, elephant, get in. Treetop Village, and I could Sphere now. That makes things harder for them forever. Yeah, I like making things harder for them forever. And if Sphere or Sylvan Library resolves, if they have one more counterspell in hand, I would rather have Sylvan Library. All right, actual counterspell spent on that one. Passing the turn. I will attack with my elephant again. I could tap them out of Counterspell if I wait here. Like if I go end step or upkeep port, end step port, then they have blue colorless open. I could actually play Terravore and do that line. Yeah, creating a second problem for them here. I like the idea of. I'm dancing around the Sylvan Library. That's the card that I think will do the most for me this game. End step Cycle Decree can make one homie. That is a chump blocker. Buys you a little bit of time. Gets you a card deeper in the deck. Gonna port the Coastal Tower. Swords to Plowshares in response. That's fine. It's still tapped. They found another blue. That means my master plan to tap them out of Counterspell isn't as good. Phyrexian Furnace, okay. Exile Sylvan Library. The next exile is Call of the Herd, which is pretty annoying. That's just free money for them. And if I play it out, it goes into the powder keg. Oh, interesting. I'm going to attack first, but Duress is a sight for sore eyes here. Okay, that's handled. Duress you. Surprise technology from the top rope. Yeah, sucked up a counterspell. Deal. And they can have the Call of the Herd for free from the graveyard. They get it for free on the battlefield with Powder Keg also. And this Sylvan Library is where I actually want to be in life. Okay. They exiled the Call of the Herd to draw a card in the end step. That means they are worried about mana right now. Because they could have gotten it for free just by untapping. And that was about the card. That was not about the Call of the Herd. Wasteland is nice here. Sylvan Library. Fill my cup. Wasteland. This means they can't trade off Mishra's Factory to try to keep Powder Keg around. I don't know that they would have wanted to do that anyway, but it's no longer an option. Yep, Wasteland that. That's why we did it like this. Floating a mana. And you're probably going to do that anyway. 3 damage through. Thermo Karst. And we got them in the mana squeeze. Cycling Achroma's Vengeance. I'm glad that card wasn't cast. I'm not very good against it. Another factory found. I've got a full Sylvan Library dig here. Vindicate, hell yeah. Call of the Herd. I can double spell this turn if I pay 4 again. Or pay 8. That puts me to 4. Oh, no, I don't have. I have black or white, not black-white. Okay. Hoisted by my own petard. My mana petard. All right, I'll pay 4. I do have to be careful not to randomly die to Mishra's Factory beats. If I just go to 4 and suddenly they go nuts. Okay. That's done. That phase of the game is over. Call of the Herd. Flushed it out, dealt with it, passed the turn. I'm going to keep porting white. I mean, that's stuff like Wrath of God that I don't have to worry about. Second factory. That gives my opponent a 4/4 that they could block with, except I can port it if they try. Vindicate, still can't use that one. Duress, I'll figure that out later. I'm not casting spells right now. Rashad and port. Ian is super annoying about it. All right, I will let them animate, and then I'll tap it before it's allowed to block. If they want to animate this one can block as a 3/3 and trade, and I'm actually okay with that because destroying lands is my business right now. All right, Swords to Plowshares, that's a deal. Do I think it's better to flashback Call of the Herd while they can't counterspell, or to continue my Rashad and port Crusade here? I could play Terravore and port them. Okay. That sounds like the best of all worlds. Keep that double white on lockdown. Island from hand, 1 card over there. Mishra's Factories represent 6 points of blocking. Still floating this Vindicate. I will pay 4 now to push through this a little bit. This seems like a good time to duress. What are you working with? I can get pretty aggressive here if I know the coast is clear. And they're just scooping to the duress. Nice. Yeah, a couple duresses breaking open what's ultimately kind of a control mirror. And we're jockeying over each other's mana and who has the most creature lands and sources of card advantage. I got the library, you've got the Factor Fictions, and Duress, historically quite good here. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record lock, playing for the 4-1. I've got a full house, ports and villages here. And this is a lot of mana disruption, and it's a removal spell. I'm actually going to keep this. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think this is fine. And I'm just going to Treetop Village pass on one. I don't think there's anything that can happen in Premodern that I would need the Swords to Plowshares up right now. Treetop Village from you as well. Are we about to settle the fuck in for this mirror match? Oh yeah, we are. Look at us playing all the same cards this game. Except mine look nicer. Oh, if they have an actual spell here. Oath of Druids. Not that one. I don't care about that one. Oh, speaking of. Well, you played one, so I don't have to. Okay. My Rashadan port. I think it is time for Mox Diamond now. And do I want my third port or my second village? I think I want the second village. Yeah, I'll port their lands. You'd port my port in response, but that's the same as me porting you again, but I get to keep Mox Diamond up. Okay, opponent's missing land drops. That's clutch. Oh, interesting. I'm not going to bet on that. Not yet. Tap your lands again. Yeah, Vindicate's huge here. Sylvan Library's huge here. Oh, they're the many color version. Let's see if this Gemstone Mine dies eventually. It costs them significant things. Game 1 blue mana. Is this just a generic spell, or do we have our meddling mages in the main? Quiet Speculation. Let's go. All right, opponent's got the nice tech. Search your library for 3 cards with flashback, put them into the graveyard, and then shuffle. I guess this could target me too, if they want to look at my deck. But what do we got? 3 Call of the Herds? That's not a combo with Oath of Druids. Yeah, call, deep analysis. Opponent does have the spice, and the spice must flow. I am still not going to play any cards here. I'm just going to port the 2 lands that don't die on their own, and continue chilling. Tap, tap. Flashing back deep analysis. That was pretty good. Gemstone Mine down to 1 counter already. Treva's Ruin. Oh, that can reset the Gemstone Mine. Tight. I saw a 5-color or 4 or 5-color version of this deck that had 2 of these in it, like the Treva's Ruin and whichever the other appropriate one was, Dromar's Cavern or whatever. Man, that sucks. Did you just bounce a land? Waste that shit. All right, pass the turn. Tap, tap. The Gemstone Mine comes back around. Seal of Cleansing. Yeah, I mean, they could blow up my Mox Diamond. It's not doing a lot right now. Another Treetop Village. Pass the turn. Yeah, saving the Seal of Cleansing for something like Sylvan Library just makes so much more sense. The opponent missing a land drop. I'm almost to the point where I could start attacking. Okay, we're in there. Swords to Plowshares does affect me here. But let's see what's going on. This game's going nowhere fast. I'll start seeing if I can get anything going. Okay, I got 3 damage through. Port. It's like watching paint dry. If my opponent wants to keep missing land drops, that would be great. Okay, they found a land, but it was Gemstone Mine. Terravore. Okay, you could blow up your own Oath, I guess. Is that an excuse? Should I have played my Oath instead of attacking last turn to play around the Seal of Cleansing possibility? Okay, I'll just play out my own Oath now. They just 2 for 0'd themselves and exposed Oath of Druids to the battlefield. And I can plow their Terravore. It's not a big deal. I do only have 2 Terravores left in my deck because I'm very good at drawing them, which could make this a little wonky, I guess. Okay, they floated a green this time. I'm going to then wait until their draw step to port the other land. Okay, Ray of Revelation. Sure, you got it. All right, I'll port their port now. And I stand ready to Swords to Plowshares this thing. Basic Plains. When this Gemstone Mine dies, their Terravore gets a little bigger. All right, it's Call of the Herd time. Plow your Terravore. Okay, the dam has broken, and my opponent is ready to party here. This is where those Call of the Herds they banked earlier start to make up a little bit. I still think Rashadan Port is better than my second Terravore, So I will just double port them still. I went after the plains. I'm not sure if that's right compared to going after the port. That's actually an interesting decision. Because them porting me may not cost them anything here. That might have been a mistake. And without the Mox Diamond, porting the plains is definitely right. But they do have Mox Diamond, so that doesn't matter. Okay, the elephant is afraid to attack because of my creature land density here. All right, the Ray of Revelation in the graveyard, pretty obnoxious. But I'm going to have to get through it eventually. I don't have main deck graveyard hate. Okay, Sylvan Library, Terravore, and then I can still double port on their turn. Or no, I can't because they can port me in the end step because I played bad. But if they port me in the end step, then they can't Ray of Revelation without losing Gemstone Mine. And they can untap and do it, but yeah, okay. They decided that's more important than having their mana open for a turn. All right, I'm going to port Treetop Village and Rashadan Port. Maybe it should be Plains and Rashadan Port now, but I don't want Treetop Village attacking me either. Green mana in the pool. Green, white, Oath of Druids. All right, we're back to this. Now if they chump block, they get to Oath. Oh, hell yeah. That's huge. All right, I'm going to attack. They're going to block. And then I'm going to Vindicate the Oath. Okay, trample over. Vindicate. White, black, colorless. I got 4 of those. Yeah, I think it is Treetop Village. That's just a possible creature on the board. And I don't like creatures when I'm the one with a creature. Okay, the Drew Swords to Plowshares. We're back to crapping it out here. Deleted Gemstone Mine. Sylvan Library. Okay, that's a pretty good card here. Not gonna lie. A Wasteland. That's nice. Okay. How much can I fire in? I need 1, 2, 3, 4 to activate the ports. I can only actually attack for 2 here. Could I have attacked with a village? I might have missed a damage here. Wasteland, Treetop Village. Now I can port your lands. Yeah, I may have miscounted. Just didn't see the Mox Diamond in my brain. Yeah, Treetop Village could have attacked here. Whoops. And we are at the point where we're counting damage. Like, every damage matters. Kept 1 extra card down to 11. The big Terravore. That's so good if it sticks. It's so bad if it gets plowed right away. Wait, I completely miscounted. So what my brain did last turn, for those of you who are confused why I thought anything worked the way it did. In my brain, I shortcutted Rashadan Port, cost me 2 mana, and then I counted 2 lands per port activation, not port plus the land to activate it. Yeah, I could have attacked with multiple creatures last turn. Yeah, missed a ton of damage just because my brain is not functioning correctly. Okay, so I need 4 permanents to port twice. And then that leaves me 5 extra mana. That means I can attack with Mishra's Factory and play Terravore and port them twice. I would love to see Swords to Plowshares on this factory right now. Like, panic, kill this thing. Let me stick something way bigger. They did not panic. All right, second main, Terravore. Yep. Good discipline on the Swords to Plowshares. I gave them the option to mess up and they didn't take it. Tap the plains and tap the... I'm actually going to leave them with Rashadan Port. Like, if they might have to use Rashadan Port to keep my creature lands tied down, and if they don't do that, or if they do that, then they're not casting spells on their turn. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Yeah, the Mox Diamond has just made this whole game possible for them, which, you know, is the point of that card. It is the reason this deck exists. I am behind on the engine count, but I am ahead on mana and threat count. Okay, did not take any extra cards off Sylvan Library. Found a fetch land. Ooh, the Karst. That is worth deploying. Do I want to go after their port as a tactical object or start blowing up their colors? I can't really blow up their colors. I'll go after the port. Okay, Karst the port. If they port in response, I just animate whatever they try to port. They should probably port in response. Yep, all right. Load a mana. I'll attack with the correctly sized creature here. Opponent's at 9. Attacking with a 3 instead of a 2 matters. And I got 1 Terravore left in my deck if I could draw out their 4th Swords to Plowshares. The opponent's at 6. If they use this fetch, they go to 5. And the fetch is extra tempting here because Sylvan Library sees 3 fresh ones. Getting to 4 mana here flashes back Call of the Herd, which can trade with the Treetop Village. I don't love that. Okay, fetching down to 5. I assume this will be Forest. Oh wow, they have 2 planes in their deck. They have a third color at least. So they're built many cards different from me. I would just think that green is more important right now. It's like double green for Terravore is a thing. If I have to plow a Terravore right now, I'll be pretty bummed out. That's so much life. Okay, cool. Nice. That was really fun and satisfying, actually. Okay, Phyrexian Furnace, Aura of Silence. I like these cards. Duress in this game does come down to top decking. Duressing early, seeing what they're working with, could be interesting. Duressing like on turn 10 or something. If I Duress, strip a Swords to Plowshare, stick a Terravore, kind of what I did last match, that would be pretty cool too. I don't know that it's worth it though. I'm not trying to Oath here at all. Let's do the Call of the Herd shit. Krosan Wreck could have a moment. If they're a Quiet Speculation deck, Krosan Wreck undoes a Quiet Spec. That's something. I don't know that I have room for all this, though. I actually might just cut 2 Mox Diamonds entirely. I'm trying to improve my late game top decks more than I'm trying to improve my early game jump out. Do I cut 2 of my Stone Rains here? Is that how we do this? I still have 6 of them, plus the Wastelands, plus the ports. The game's going to be about creature lands. All right, I will try this. So there's a onboard component to this. There's a creature land component to this. There's an enchantment advantage component to this. And there's a graveyard component to this. And they all have different rankings of how important they are. Honestly, a 5-lander couldn't be happier. I'm not super happy that it's City of Brass. City of Brass has the extra suck in this particular mirror of when this becomes tapped, it deals 1 to you. It's not tap, make a mana, take 1 damage. It's not mana confluence. So City of Brass, if played out early enough, or if not enough is going on, I could actually just lose to a Rashadan Port. Caves of Koilos. Okay, I could fetch Plains Forest right now, have basic lands set up, or I could leave more lands in my deck. I think I just want basic lands set up here. Forest, Plains. And I'm going to run out the Sphere of Resistance. My opponent had a lot more spells than me in their deck. Like the Quiet Specs, the Deep Analysis, the Call of the Herds in the main. If I can just make it a little harder on them, I like it. Right, just hitting land drops. That's what we're all going to be doing for a long time here. Wasteland. I don't think just ripping off Wasteland is the right play this early. I think we want to save those for later and win a combat with it. Yeah, that's annoying, but I still have plows. Get to work on that. Flashing it back will cost 5. Oh, look at me. I got one too. You like that shit? Okay, here we go. And I have my 5th mana ready to flash it back. Sylvan Library. That's pretty good. I can kill it though. And I'm going to. Opponent missed a land drop. That's big. Big, big, big. Aura of Silence. And knowing that they're missing land drops is huge because that means they can't afford to use this Wasteland basically ever. And that lets me push my advantage pretty hard. Yeah, they just did nothing on that whole turn cycle. Vindicate, baby. All right, Vindicate I think I want to take them off white. And oh, I can't attack with Mishra's Factory. That was bad. Unless they do something. Enlightened Tutor. Okay, now I can't attack with Mishra's Factory. What do you even tutor for here? Oath? Is there 1 Oath still in the deck just in case this happens? All right, going for Sylvan Library. All right, make sure I do this correctly. And I don't activate the Summoning Sick one. Okay, I didn't activate the Summoning Sick one. All right, yeah, blast damage while the coast is clear. I know they can't Wasteland me there. They're going to tap out this turn, and I get to blast them again. And then by the time Sylvan Library starts doing anything, their life total is going to be super low, or I'll be way ahead on board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll invest the 2nd elephant here. Okay, I am ahead. If they could stabilize this somehow, I am going to be very quickly in trouble. But this is not trivial to stabilize. I have 5 different threats right now. The Wasteland Like, you're stuck under Sphere, you've missed a bunch of land drops, wastelanding yourself's bad, trading off Treetop Village is bad. Okay, yeah, they just didn't find what they were looking for, they were done. Game 2, much cleaner than Game 1. And Vindicate, clutch. Okay, another league, another 4-1 with some version of Oath Terravore. I believe 4-1 is the worst record I've ever had playing any league with this deck, any version of it. And the exact same thing happened in this league that happened in my 4-color version, which was I won 4 of my matches, and the one that I lost was entirely because my lands didn't cast my spells, which basically means I've learned almost nothing from here. It's the same thing I knew before I started the league, which was I'm pretty happy if I could cast my spells, and I lose games where I don't. I think Duress is an actual banger, though, out of the sideboard. That was a big deal, and Meddling Mage is one of the cards that the 5-color build splash for to help with your combo matchups. Something as clean as Duress doing a similar thing while also helping in control matchups. The Engineered Plague and Sphere of Law, still TBD. There might be better things to do than those. But I was actually really impressed with Duress, and the mana base mostly held up here. The Pain lands felt a lot better than Gemstone Mines. I don't actually know if I need the City of Brass, which would be great, because this City of Brass is like pennies on Magic Online, and the only old border one is like $20. It would be nice to not have to look at this, because I'm not gonna eat the price differential on it. And Ice Age just isn't on Magic Online. Like, the 7th edition is the only old border, but I won't use white border, so we play 10th edition. I don't know. Neither here nor there. Those cards look nice in real life, don't worry. But I do like, I mean, Vindicate, obviously, a much better card than Stone Rain, while also being Stone Rain. And that came up a couple times. I vindicated Sylvan Libraries and Terravores and other stuff this league. There were spots where I didn't draw it in that long game where I was stuck under a powder keg from the blue-white player, but I could have used it to force the action on keg and then get to work had I drawn it. Yeah, I think this is actually a huge technology upgrade. It's just whether this is the correct way to construct the mana base and what my sweeper in the sideboard should be. Whether it should be Engineered Plague or if I should just bite the bullet and play Wrath of God or Cataclysm. This was fun. I feel like I'm actually understanding Premodern enough to make my own dramatic twists on decks. And I'm not saying, nobody's playing Vindicate. I was inspired by other people playing Vindicate. But this particular build, this mana base, this sideboard configuration, those were decisions I made. And it's kind of inspiring. And I have a set of Vindicates in my life. I've owned them probably since I was 13. It would be nice to put them in a deck again and let them shine. I'm going to leave this one here. Be sure to check out the upcoming Premodern events, Excalibur events. The Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy has a Premodern side event on Sunday attached to their Saturday Mox Ruby Legacy event. All that stuff can be found in my various promos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.